What is up, good people? Crypto Prepper here. Today is Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. We're going to continue revisiting these top 10. And for at least now, I'm going to skip BNB. I might change my mind later because BNB is available on Coinbase and Kraken, but it's only been available on those exchanges for a few months. I think maybe October is the latest or like the longest one. I like to try to find the back test for 365 days. So since I can't do that on exchanges, um, in the US anyway with Coinbase and Kraken, I'm going to go ahead and skip this for now, which brings us to the number five coin on Coin Market Cap list. The most hated and probably most loved. I don't know. It just depends who you ask, but uh it is XRP. So this one, oh yeah, I'll note Fear and Greed is 34 today on Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. And let's go ahead and pop over to our Bitscap trading platform. If you are interested in getting started with this, there is a referral link in the description of this video that will help support the channel. And if you do that and get started, I am definitely more likely to run 365-day back test for a bot for you or two. Let's go ahead and get started here with Coinbase. You see, we've got Coinbase listed here, XRP USD are all of our bots. We start with $1,000, and just like all of them, you can scale that up as much as you want, but at least $1,000. So before you scale that up, you're going to want to make sure that your settings are as such here. Our bot settings being 3125 as the base order amount and 968.75 for the averaging orders amount, which is these five here. Okay, and then the averaging orders quantity is five, which gives us five limit orders here. And the space between them is this averaging orders step percent. So I start out with five and then I work my way up and down, around, back and forth, and try to find a nice balance between return and continuation at which means I still have on the back test it still has orders to go. So here we have the amount multiplier is x2 as always, and step multiplier is off. And I say as always, but Bitcoin is really the only different one that I've had to do differently to get a decent return. So if you click the take profit and stop loss little drop down, you can change your take profit to 5% and get pretty similar numbers. So risk management, you can take pump dump protection off. That does increase risks and rewards most of the time. But there was once that I clicked it on just for shits and giggles, and it actually increased the return weirdly. Okay, so anyway, let's check this back test here. You kind of maybe saw it already here. 74.96% APY. And um with this one's interesting because the Bitcoin and Ethereum have both dropped uh, about 12% over the last 365 days from when I ran those bots over the last couple of days. But XRP here has dropped 40%. And then another thing that you'll probably notice here on that's been a little different is I usually like to have uh, more order lines here, green lines to indicate that this bot is going to would be continuing. But right now, the entire value of the bot is in XRP. And another way that this chart is different from the other two uh, at least Bitcoin and Ethereum that we've done recently, is that it is at major support. So it hasn't spent too much time below this value here in dollar over the past 365 days. So maybe a day and a half here and a couple hours here and a couple hours there. So, and not even in a couple hours on the 10th because that was that major liquidation that it basically rebounded the same day. So I'm not so hung up on uh, seeing the continuation because if we were to start this bot now, of course, those lines would go down to probably 150, you know, based on these, maybe a little bit higher based on these settings that we have here. So let's go through actually, I just went through the settings. So let's pop over to the next tab here and look at the USDC pairing on Coinbase. So no difference here. It's the exact same return. And, of course, the same decrease over the last 365 days. So kind of a side note here. In other videos, I've mentioned, okay, so if you were to have purchased XRP, $1,000 in XRP last year, 365 days ago, you now have $600 worth of XRP, but you'd still have the same amount of XRP. But if you were to put that same $1,000 in the spot, it would have produced a 74.96% APY, plus you'd have, it's hard to say, your $1,000 is going to be diluted here, so you're going to maybe have 750-ish, even if you'd say it's 500-ish, if you're the value of the XRP in your bot at this point could be 500, $700. So you're still going to be way up. And then this money here, it gets trickled into your USDC. You don't have to wait all year for it. There's no lockup period. You could cancel this bot at any time and move forward with a different one. But you can see as I'm scrolling through here, each time it sells, it's going to put that profit right into your USDC wallet. So you don't have to wait the whole year to get that amount. It trickles in as the bot continues to do its thing. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't confusing to anybody. All right, so I also wanted to run the bot on the USDT pair on XRP on Coinbase. And you can see here I have, let's see, yeah, 4.1 there. I'll make sure. Yeah, so I did find that even on the USDT pair, 4.1 for the averaging order step percentage was the best. And let's run the back test on here because I can't remember. There might have been one of these bots, one or two, that still had an order or two underneath here, indicated by a solid green line. But what I thought was interesting was the USDT pairing for these XRP bots on Coinbase is just a little different, 75 basically down to 70.44% using USDT. Okay, and now I want to go over the bots on Kraken, and this is where it gets a little weird. So the first one, XRP USD on Kraken, it wasn't necessarily weird, but here, let me take you through the settings. Everything else is the same, except instead of like on Coinbase, where the step percentage here was 4.1, on Kraken 4.2 gave a little better return. Everything else is the same here, you see. And we'll run this back test. And you saw down there just briefly before I hit that button again, you got a 77.09. So just a little bit more return on Kraken versus Coinbase, and there was this weird um, anomaly on Kraken on this date, November 19th, that shows a giant wick, and it's super crazy. I don't know why they haven't fixed it. And I don't know if this would have actually taken advantage of that because I think it was just a glitch, some kind of glitch. But I don't know. So I don't know if it would have actually had this sell order here. It would have had all these buy orders because that was real. So um, that's not really where it gets weird. Where it gets weird is when I go over to the USDT or the USDC pairing, and for some reason I'm only able to do a back test and get any numbers going back to April 2nd, 2025. So you can see here when uh, I run this, it gives me 45.11. So just so we can work on comparing things more accurately, if I take the USD pairing back to April 2nd, that's 295 days ago, and that'll give me a 44.38. So 295 days ago, let's make sure our settings here are the same. So 44.38, and it still shows down here. And 4.2. Yeah, so all of the settings are the same, but at least for this time period, uh, it could be different for different time periods, but to compare each of these pairings and these bots on Kraken, I had to do a little bit of modification on the timeline because of this one. But USDC would have actually performed just a little bit better than USD. Okay. And then USDT has all the same pairings, and this would have performed just a little bit worse at 43.98. So a little bit worse than USDC and USD, and then USDC is the same. And then also I ran it on um, the Ripple stablecoin RLUSD because Kraken has at least XRP on with a paired up with RLUSD. Now this was even weirder because it's only been available since April 2nd, but it didn't let me do a back test that far. So I didn't show you this on the other pairings, but if I were to try to run, so let's remember 214 days, and June 22nd. Because if I go back a day, it will just show this. And it does that no matter what day I put in before June 22nd. Okay, so that is weird. And I've seen this before on Kraken where it's done that for some reason. I have no idea what would cause that, but here is one of the reasons. Here's a perfect example, because this is one of the reasons why you might want to set up, multiple, even if it's all of one coin, you're going to set them up on different pairings because you can take advantage of these illiquid wicks. So this bot here on RLUSD, there's not as much liquidity on this bot. So it actually like took better advantage of this day than the other bots did. And same thing on these two, because usually you cannot see these red dots here because the bots they sell and then they buy and sell at this like almost the same time. So once it sells, it'll immediately buy again and then reset the lines here that you see. So now what I want to do, and just for my curiosity, I don't know how much maybe it'll provide value. So I definitely appreciate you watching this long if you're still sticking around. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, give me a thumbs down. If you want to see more of these videos, subscribe to the channel and leave me your favorite coin in the comments, and I will run a bot for you. So now what I want to do is I'm just curious to see if I were to back test these other pairings on Kraken 214 days ago. That matches here 214 days ago. And that gives me a 29.92. So over the same time period, the RLUSD bot actually performed better. 42.05% versus this 29.92. So let's do the same thing with the USDC pairing and go to June 22nd. Oh, and then let's double check to make sure that our settings are all the same. Yeah, 4.2. That's the only thing that I usually change on these. I don't mess with the take profit. Typically, sometimes I might, but so this averaging order step percent is the exact same. All the settings are the exact same. On USDC, it performed worse than USDT for this timeline setting. So you can kind of see how it does get a little tricky, and this is one of the things that reminds us that, nothing is guaranteed. Of course, this is not financial advice. I don't need to say that every time. I know people probably think I might need to say it every time. But I'm just trying to show you some possibilities here utilizing the Bitscap trading bots. It's pretty interesting. Okay, and then let's do the same thing on the USD pair and go back to June 22nd. So we can compare oranges to oranges, I guess you'd say. 30.35, and what did we have on here? 42.05. So could be an advantage of setting up a bot on less liquid pairings, because you're going to get more volatile wicks. And eventually it's going to even itself out, right? Because of arbitrage. So that's quite a bit different. 42. So, okay, that is good to know information. So we'll just stop it there. Like I said before, if you like it, do all those things and let me know your favorite coin. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.